Hey guys, welcome to Channel Leviathan. I just got my hands on the collector's edition of The Last of Us Part 2 by pure chance at a GameStop. I had the original one reserved and they just happened to have this, so I got really lucky. And I figured I would make a video of it, the unboxing, so y'all could see what you get inside and what my initial reaction to it all is. I think I paid about $180 to $200-ish for it, something like that. And we'll see if it's worth it. For those of you who don't know, it's made by Naughty Dog, and throughout the years, Naughty Dog has been a very successful video game company with their Crash Bandicoot series, Jak and Daxter, Drake's Uncharted Fortune. They've done a fantastic job on pretty much everything they've touched. And The Last of Us is, well, also considered, Jak and Daxter is one of my favorite video game series, even though it's not considered the best. Crash Bandicoot was PlayStation's original mascot. And with The Last of Us, the original one, it is widely considered one of the greatest games ever made. So let's hope they do just as good of a job at Part 2. I haven't really done anything looking into what happened to the game. I watched one game review on it, and it got a pretty good score. It seems like the community is a little bit divided, with some people saying it's great, some people saying there is a lot of stuff in here that they don't like. I don't know, haven't played yet, might do a review video, we'll see. But for now, let's see what we get in the collector's edition. We'll start out with just showing you what the box looks like. It's actually a pretty good, nice box for a collector's edition. We got pictures on the back. It looks like we got a statue, steelbook case, art book. That's pretty standard for a collector's edition nowadays. We got some stickers. It looks like some pins and a bracelet. So let's crack this open and see exactly what it looks like and the quality of all this and if it was worth the somewhere around 200 bucks. Again, I want to say I paid about 180 for this, but we'll see. I'll have to double check that. And honestly, if you guys are interested in this, I think some of them are still available on or at GameStop, because a good amount of people possibly canceled last minute, didn't have the money, didn't have this, didn't have that. So let's see what we got. This is actually pretty nice. Nice box. You could put that as a decoration somewhere in your game room or not, but still that's a convenient carrying case for this thing. I gotta say, first initial impression, as somebody who's opened up a lot of collector's edition games, this one is definitely in a higher tier. A lot of them, once you get a little disappointed once you open it up. You find out the statue is okay, but everything else from the art book to even the packaging looks terrible. That is actually the number one thing you don't want to see in a collector's edition. When it seems like, yeah, it's a great game, but they didn't put a lot of thought into a collector's edition, and it seems like it's just something they threw together. But this one looks pretty solid so far. So we'll start out with the art book. Wish it was a little bit bigger, but that still does look pretty nice, for being honest here. We'll just flip through a couple pages so y'all could see what we get. It's got that new book smell to it. Oh, yeah, that's that new book smell. But, yeah, pretty standard art book, which is nice for a game like this, because one of the many things that made it such a popular game, and actually one thing I saw in one of the reviews, is just how good the graphics and the landscapes and alive everything felt. So, it's good to get a art book with a game like this that's known for its graphics. We got a steel book case. That's all right. I'm not really a collector of steelbook cases, but it's always a nice touch to get one of these. We got a, what is this? Don't want to break it. See if I can get this thing opened. It's a thank you letter from the director of The Last of Us Part 2. That's actually really cool. I've never gotten one of these, and I'll read it to y'all. What would you do if someone you loved was the victim of a cruel and violent act? How easily could one's mind tip toward violent retribution? How far would you go to bring the people responsible to justice? If you were successful, how would it change you? Would you ever be the same? With The Last of Us Part 2, we set out to create an experience that explores the difficult questions, the darkest sides of the human race, the vicious cycles of violence that we witness in the world around us on a daily basis. The result is a game crafted by hundreds of developers that push themselves to create something more than mere entertainment. A game we're incredibly proud of, and we hope will enthrall you and challenge you on your own views of justice and empathy. On behalf of everyone at Naughty Dog, we want to thank you for embarking on this journey with us. That is actually really cool, because for someone like me, I'm a big fan of, I guess we'll call it philosophy, a story within a story that on the surface tells this but has greater meaning to it. And The Last of Us, especially for us deep thinkers, is just that kind of game. It's actually the very definition of that kind of game. So that was a really cool thing for them to put in here. I'm not going to lie, I actually really like that. Next item you get is a couple of pins. I collect pins. I got a corkboard, random corkboard wall. Recently renovating my game room, but on this corkboard I probably got about 100 pins, so this is a nice little addition for any of us who collect pins. You got some stickers. Always like stickers. You can find some random stuff to put this on, or your car, binder, whatever you might use. A cool bracelet. I'm not really a fan of jewelry, but it's a nice extra thing to add to it. So I'm sure I could figure out something to do with that. Wow. This box is really, really nicely put together. But the main thing we've all been waiting for is, how does the statue look? Let's see if I can get this out. Wow, they really went all out on this box again, I'm gonna say that. Most collector's edition boxes, like a lot of them, once I open them up, some of them are torn up on the inside. Like not a lot of thought was put into the so-called, I guess, engineering of the box. Like there'll be things ripped. Sometimes stuff gets loose and gets all scuffed up. And you know, when you're spending like generally $100 plus on a collector's edition, that's something you never want to see. So far, everything looks pretty spot on with this thing. But got that new statue smell. Should have memorized how I put that in there, or how they put that in there so I could get it out. But all right. Here we go. Would you look at that? A nice, it actually feels pretty nice too. I really like it. They don't have like a wooden base. Like one thing, I got the Dark Souls 3 Yorm statue. I really like it when they do like a stone or wooden base. It just makes it feel heavier and nicer. But they actually did a pretty good job on this. For anybody who is a true fan, this is a pretty good thing to get. Like there's so much detail. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if my camera will focus in on it, but like these jeans are super detailed. Even her shirt is super detailed. This is actually a really detailed, well done statue. I'm not sure I like the material for it, but as for how it was put together, all the paint, this is actually really nicely done. The face could be a little bit better though, but everything else looks pretty incredible. Like, I don't know if my camera's really picking up on this, but there is a lot of detail on this. This is definitely better than your average statue. The only thing, the face could use a little work though, but everything else is pretty good. But yeah, that's what y'all get if you wanna, if you're a big fan and you wanna spend the money. You get a nice statue, a box, which is gonna take me a second to put back together, so I'm not gonna do it in this video. You get the stickers, you get pins, you get this thank you note. This is probably one of the coolest things I've seen done. You could tell when they write something like this, they're really passionate about the game that they made. And generally, if you ever see anything like this, you know they put a lot of time and effort into it. And this gives me a good feeling about how this game's going to turn out. I feel like it's going to be another, like, again, the reviews, some reviews are already saying 10 out of 10. I think it's probably going to be a masterpiece. But you get your steel book, bracelet, and your art book. So overall, it's a pretty good deal. If you're a fan of the game, if you're a fan of Naughty Dog in general, I would definitely pick this up. Right now, you still have a bit of a grace period, so some GameStops might still have some of these. Or you could always buy it from the secondary market. It'll be a little bit more, probably I'd say probably 210, 220, 30, maybe even up to 250, maybe more than that. But so far, this looks pretty great. I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 5 or a 4.5 out of 5. Probably a 4 out of 5, just because I like the statue again, but I feel like, especially the base of it, could have been made with slightly better materials. But overall, it's just as good as any of the other statues. If you have the Horizon Zero Dawn Collector's Edition, I'd say it's probably a step above the quality of that one. But we'll give you guys one more look at the statue. Just for reference, I'm 5'11", so if you could imagine how tall I am and how big this is compared to me, it's a fairly decent size. So I would say, if you have the money for it and you're a fan, go out and buy it. I'm not disappointed, and I don't think you guys will be either. So thanks for watching my channel, and take it easy.